Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really going to take a sledgehammer to the usual headlines. We want to understand why these huge financial institutions are getting hit with massive regulatory penalties. And we're going way beyond just, simple compliance failures. I mean,
Exactly.
if you follow this space at all, you've seen the numbers. The UK market alone, we're talking fines over 300 million since 2021. You see names like Nationwide, Barclays,
Right. And the headlines are always the same. It's inadequate systems, weak controls.
always.
Yeah.
But that doesn't answer the real question, does it?
Yeah.
Why are those systems so inadequate in the first place?
Well, this is what's so interesting. Our source material makes this, I think, brilliant point. It argues that these fines are they're very expensive tuition fees.
Tuition fees. For what?
For believing the system works without ever proving it.
Yeah.
These aren't just, compliance slip-ups. They are fundamental failures of strategy, of architecture, and of the whole operating model.
Okay, hold on. Failures of strategy. Sounds a bit abstract. Can you give me a tangible example? How does a strategic choice lead to a fine instead of just like a software bug?
Oh, absolutely. Let's say a bank strategy is to prioritize super fast customer onboarding, get them in the door quickly.
That's a common strategy.
Very. But if that's the priority, it's often at the expense of rigorous anti-money laundering checks. That's a strategic decision. And the systems you build to support that strategy, they will inherently be fragile. That fragility is just an architectural problem waiting for a regulator to find it.
Got it. Okay, so our mission for this deep dive is to arm you with what our source calls a discipline of architectural and strategic questioning. Basically, 5 Socratic questions. Things you should be asking in every design review, every risk meeting, to stop these huge failures before they happen.
Exactly. And let's start with the big one, the one that really dismantles that internal complacency. Question 1, how do you know that's true?
Ah, I like that. It's direct.
It is. It challenges everyone, especially leadership, to move from just believing something works, operating on faith, really, to demanding hard evidence. Cold, hard data. Establish standards that prove adequacy.
So, if you can't prove a control actually works today, right now it's just a guess.
It's just a guess, and that means you need the data before you launch, not just when the annual audit comes around.
Right. Okay, so once we've challenged our own beliefs, what's next?
The next logical step is question 2. What are you assuming? Every single system, every product launch, it carries these hidden assumptions.
Assumptions about what?
About anything. About how customers will behave, how reliable your tech is, or even how a regulator is going to interpret a new rule. And if you don't expose those assumptions early on,
Do you get a mismatch?
you get a massive mismatch between the strategy you wrote down and the actual operating reality of your organization.
Okay, that feels like a necessary ego check. So once we've dragged our assumptions into the light, we hit them with question 3. What evidence would change your mind?
Yes. This is about turning every decision you make into a science experiment. It's a falsifiable hypothesis. You're actively trying to prove your own design wrong.
So you're hardwiring humility right into the process.
You have to. You define the metric ahead of time. You say, if our system fails to flag this specific kind of transaction, say 50 times in a month, that evidence must force us to scrap this entire module. It makes your strategy adaptive, not rigid and brittle.
That is a tough standard.
Huh.
But to really stress test an idea, you need dissent, right? That brings us to question 4. What would someone who disagrees say?
And this isn't about office politics. The whole point is to challenge the logic of the solution itself, no matter who came up with it. You want to find the fragile parts before the regulators do it for you.
Which brings us to the final question, the one that ties it all together. Question 5. What would happen if every team or system did this?
This is the crucial one.
It seems like it.
Uh.
It forces you to stop thinking about just local optimization, making one little system perfect.
And start thinking about enterprise integrity. If one team makes their system lightning fast, but that speed creates a huge downstream risk for the compliance team, well, question 5 catches that collision before it blows everything up.
So when you connect all those dots, it becomes pretty clear.
It's an architectural and strategic problem, not just a compliance problem. The most resilient financial services, they're built by people who are curious enough to just keep asking the right questions, not by the ones who think they have all the answers.
I think that's the core takeaway here. True resilience comes from swapping out that hunt for the right answer for the discipline of asking the right questions. We're moving from a culture of box checking to one of real architectural curiosity. So as we wrap up, here's the thought for you to take away. If this model means you have to question all your assumptions, which hidden assumption in your own work, in your professional life, is running purely on faith and not on fact? Use question 2. Start digging.